It's difficult. Like typically countries suffering inflation have their own fiat currency. And that kind of makes it more difficult for them to adopt Bitcoin. So it's almost like you're trying to convince a shitcoiner, give up your shitcoin and just go with Bitcoin, right? They're going to resist because they have something and they have a central bank that is accustomed to being able to quote unquote manage the economy, right? So it's more challenging for sure, but I definitely think countries suffering inflation or hyperinflation will eventually become amenable to the idea of adopting Bitcoin. And I say that because I think it's about the people. If the governor of the central bank or the chair of the central bank changes, and you bring in someone that understands Bitcoin, understands technology, I think that is an opportunity. If you're dealing with the old incumbent people that have been there for decades or whatever, it might be a difficult pill for them to swallow, and you have to see. Or things get really bad, and you really go into dollars, the paper currency becoming worthless, and just like piling up in the streets. And at that point, I think you just have no choice. Either you do a reset and you repeat the history again, or you go with Bitcoin. And I think in the past, countries would do that. They would just scrap the old currency, make a brand new one, and wait for it to decline again. But now with El Salvador, also with Lugano, Paulo Ordino, he orange pilled the city. And that's also a nice example too. Like you don't need to orange pill a country. You can also orange pill a city and get de facto legal tender too. But with these two examples, I think you could not ethically say we're going to just redo the currency and issue a new fiat currency to replace the old worthless one. You have to talk about Bitcoin. That discussion is now on the table and it cannot be ignored. So that's how I would see it playing out in that particular scenario. And for Mexico, again, it's a bit of a different playbook again, because you have a Mexican senator pushing for it very aggressively, Senator Indira Campos. And she's getting people together, starting to formulate a draft for a law, and she's actively orange pilling the president. So, it's a different formula in every place. And maybe it's just going to work itself out. So maybe the arrangements in different places are actually suitable for those different places. So maybe you do need the senator in Mexico because they do have a very strong central bank, and the central bank does not like Bitcoin, right? And you have a group of people there that have been fighting at the central bank. There was a time at which the central bank wanted to close down all Mexican exchanges. So they've had these fights before. So I think you kind of have a resistance group there now. And maybe that is the group that will help us get Bitcoin legal tender in Mexico. So I guess that's the answer. There is a lot of different ways things can play out and a lot of different strategies that can be employed. Maybe mining will take place first, right? Because Ricardo Salinas Pliego, Uncle Ricky, he's interested in doing some mining. So maybe that might set the example. When a billionaire of your country is starting mining, that might change some people's minds. And then maybe one of the national utilities will start to look at it. Or maybe he knows someone there. But you kind of have to kick off that chain of events with something. Something has to go first, but you never know what's going to go first. You don't know which domino is going to kick off. But once it kicks off, you want to kind of push that, fan the flames a bit, and accelerate it as much as you can.